Hello, welcome to this afternoon taste challenge. I had to restage this because one of the viewers, Uncle Blasto, thank you, Uncle Blasto, he noticed that when I did this video, it wouldn't play and it showed no views. Although on my end, it wasn't showing anything unusual, but I could see something was wrong. So I have to restage it and I'm wasting my whiskey. You know, I'm trying to nurse it along and I'm wasting it. All right, so I have two 80 proof sour mash whiskeys. This is Ezra Brooks Sour Mash Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, introduced in 1957. I know the side of the bottle says since 1800, 7 generations, but not quite sure what they're talking about because this brand, Ezra Brooks, came out in 1957. This is an unusual bottle. This is the 80 proof, non-age stated, which is currently produced only for export to Australia and maybe in the little 50 milliliter bottles to other countries, but it's not available in the United States. I did find it. They had some bottles left over. This is a 2015 bottle. So that was a fine. $10.99. Fair deal. It's clear. Amber. Over here we have George Dickel Cascade Hollow. The trademark is saying introduced in 2018. I thought it was earlier than that, but whatever. It's discontinued anyway. They only made it a few years. They might have produced this for 3 years. George Dickel Tennessee Sour Mash Whiskey, Old Fashioned Cascade Hollow. This is a liter bottle, and they had it at Discount Depot. There's 3 discount depots, but the Discount Depot in Marrero on United States Highway 90 business route westbound, close to Louisiana Highway 45. They had this beautiful embossed clear glass. Clear glass is not the best. Brown is better, but anyway, clear for $7.99. True story, for a liter. So I bought a bottle. And then I gave another bottle to my friend David, and he brought it to the hot rod shop, and he said they blew through it in 1 week because everybody loved it, especially since they didn't have to pay for it. All right, anyway, this one's a little more copper. So 2 days ago, or yesterday, I guess it was, I did the taste challenge, and the video didn't come out. So, and I know people were watching it. I don't know why it said no views, because people were commenting during the video, so it's really weird, you know, but some kind of failure on the platform. Joe Cobb in Canada says, "Evening, Ron. Hope you are well. Drinking a Moscow Mule tonight." Oh, thank you, Joe. Enjoy that. I am doing well. Had a busy day at work. Was working for over 8 hours. It was busy and it was active, but I wasn't hard. You know what I mean? Like the actual tasks were not hard. People ask me that. You working hard? It's more like I'm working steady, but it's not hard. You know, when I used to teach high school, that was hard. I mean, there was always a lot of challenges. And there's a lot of involvement, but it was manageable. It was just tough, you know. But I did that for over 20 years. But that was enough of that. All right, now I'm retired from that. All right, sourdough bread, sourdough bagel. Now they're both charcoal mellowed. Dickel is probably charcoal mellowed before they age it, and like they do in Tennessee. Ezra Brooks is charcoal mellowed probably after aging. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't have any pertinence to bourbon. Some people think it does. It doesn't. I know Cascade Hollow is a Tennessee whiskey. It's made in Tennessee. It's still a bourbon. They do 2 steps. They charcoal mellow it and they chill filter it probably after aging, because they pioneered chill filtering. In fact, George Dickel is a company that first chill filtered whiskey. And so they're not going to say it's bad. They brag on it. They brag on how they do it because they pioneered it. All right. George Dickel, easy to find. Ezra Brooks, relatively easy to find. I think I can get it in this town. Although I don't know why Walmart stopped carrying it like within the last week. That was very strange. Very strange. But I don't control Walmart. Yeah, so you get maybe some charred oak. But you definitely get the sourdough bagel type of situation. Let's go with the taste. Cheers. Also, Ezra Brooks is saying straight bourbon. George Dickel just says Tennessee whiskey, no E, W-H-I-S-K-Y. That's how they spell it, just like early times, W-H-I-S-K-Y, like in Canada. But doesn't claim to be straight whiskey, so could have flavoring added. I think I found a career path I want to pursue here in Toronto, says Joe Cobb. Might become a paralegal 1-year course, 4 hours a day, always in demand here because it's a big city, could work for a law firm, etc. Well, best wishes on that. I hope it works out for you. Does this taste like Flintstone vitamins? It does a little bit, which would mean Dickel, because I find that Dickel tastes like Flintstone vitamins, and I did not copy that from somebody. I independently determined that, and then I noticed that other people were saying it widespread on the internet. And I said, yeah, people are going to think I'm copying from other people, but I never did. I never read any reviews about Dickel until after I tried it. And that was one of the first things I noticed. It tastes like Flintstone vitamins. More of the sourdough bread, bagel, maybe more charred oak, but neither one of these products is going to have any intense charred oak character. Are they pleasant? They are pleasant. It's kind of irrelevant to even do the videos. It's kind of like a moot point because you can't find this one in the United States anymore. Although I did, but generally you can't. They send a smaller bottle to Australia. This is out of production. So you might find a lingering bottle somewhere. Look at that. It's hazy too. When you get down to the bottom of these whiskey bottles, they get really hazy, cloudy. I think the sediment that they didn't filter out starts to coagulate at the bottom. That's out of production, so chances are you won't find it. But you might, but unlikely. But anyway, I did not order these on the internet or whatever and get it from a collector. I just found them in stores when I was not looking for them. Definitely not looking for them. That sweet mineral vitamin taste. It's got to be the Dickel. It is. It is. I never get the Dickel mixed up. The one thing about the George Dickel, I never get it confused with other products. The rye whiskey, the Superior number 12, which is all gone now. This one's almost gone. But it's unique. It's unique. It's its own flavor. Like I said, could be adding flavoring, but whatever. But is George Dickel a product that's worthwhile to try? I think so. It's unusual, but it's interesting. Ezra Brooks is not unusual. It tastes like every other bourbon you ever tried. You know what I'm saying? No, I mean, it's just like regular. It's just very standard. But I mean that in a good way. It just doesn't stand out. So, which means that it is a winner because you can pay less. You pay less, but you're not getting less. And now the current bottle is 99 proof. So they went from 80 proof over the last 10 years, went from 80 And then at some point they jumped it to 90. And then about 2 years ago, they decided, let's make our base model, our standard edition, a 99 proof. 99 proof. So they've gone against the trend, because the trend with most of the major American bourbons is to go down 100 to 90 to 80. 100, 90, 86, 80. Most of them hover around 80. I'm not talking about the special editions. I'm talking about just the regular ones. Old Charter. You know, Jack Daniels, Jim Beam. Evan Williams is 86, but actually their base model is 80, the green label, but that's not so widely available. But it is around. I know where to buy it. I'm not sure which one I prefer, because they both have unique qualities. They're both in the A range. I think 9.3 would be fair. Mid 90s, 9.3. So are there a lot of negatives involved with these products? Well, yeah. One, you can't get them anymore. Secondly, no, there's no second. Just that you can't get them anymore. There's nothing really wrong with these. They're just not. They're kind of regular, but the Dickel is unique, not regular. It's kind of what I mean is the flavor is not bountiful or like bursting or amazing, because then it would be like a 99 or 100. But it's still solid, super solid, well made. You know, these people have been making whiskey a long time, since 1870. In fact, so they have it nailed down, and I don't think you can go wrong with Dickel's products. I haven't had them all. I've had the rye, green label, you know, the rye, but it's actually from Indiana, not even made by Dickel. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's contract distilled. But I've had the Superior number 12, that khaki colored thing, beige color, or ecro linen color. And then I've had the, of course, Cascade Hollow, which I have tonight. Ezra Brooks, I've had their Bourbon Cream 25 proof, awesome. I've had their Bourbon Cream 33 proof, awesome. I've had this black label, the old original Ezra Brooks. Not awesome, but close to it. Would I like to try the 90? Well, I would. And the 99. Oh, I also had their rye. I have a bottle. I have a little bit left. The rye, the 2-year age. It's only aged 2 years, 90 proof. But they've updated that. They've changed it. It's different now. But I found an older bottle from 6 years ago, and I got it for $9. True story. Okay, so take your pick. Whatever one you want to choose, you're going to have a winner. Tommy Carroll says, cheers, Louisiana whiskey reviews. An LSU football player was found dead with 2 suspected murderers in his dorm room. You got to be careful what friends you pick. That must be recent news, because I watched the news at 4 o'clock. And they didn't say anything about that, but yeah, you got to watch who you hang out with. I'll say that right. You're right about that, Tommy. You know, it's strange, Tommy. I'm looking on ESPN.com and all the top NCAA football headlines. There's no mention of that. That would be the lead story. That would be the lead story. So I don't know about that, Tommy. All right. Anyway. "26 years old now, Joe Cobb, starting to think about a serious career." I agree with that. I started earlier thankfully, thank God, when I was 17 years old, I was like, I got to get a job. I want to do something, you know. So I decided teaching because I wouldn't have to miss football games on the weekend. I needed a career that would not interfere with college football and professional football, but also something I would like. And I like talking about history all the time. So, I'll talk about history for free, but they'll pay me to talk about it. I'll do that. I'll do that gig, you know. But so I just said, I'm going to do it, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to stick with it. So I went to college, graduated early, 3.5 years, went to summer school, 3.5 years, and started teaching when I was 21. And I stayed in it till I was 44, taught high school level, college level, Southern University in New Orleans, Southeastern Louisiana University in Hammond. So then I was able to get enough credit years, you know, service years to retire early, still get a check every month. And that goes until you die. They sent me a thing the other day saying there's like 25 people in Louisiana that still get their teacher retirement checks, and they're over 100 years old. And I thought, so they were saying you can't outlive it, you know. But I can remember when I was in elementary school, we had teachers that only had high school diplomas, because at one time in Louisiana, you could teach elementary school with just a high school diploma. I mean, you might have had to take some training courses, but we had some old ladies. When I was little, there were some old ladies probably in their 60s, 70s, and they had started teaching when they were out of high school. They didn't have to have college, but that, of course, that changed, you know. But construction pays well, but kills your body. I know somebody that was in construction, so it was killing him. He got out of it. Louisiana Whiskey Reviews picked up a 4-pack of Paul Anner Oktoberfest. Looking for. I saw some of that today. I was showing somebody. Actually, that's a funny story. I was showing somebody a bottle of that today. I was like, "This is a really good German Oktoberfest beer." He kind of wasn't interested in it. He loves drinking beer all day long, every day of the week. But I don't know if he's that interested in like alternative brands or different things. But I was like, "This is really good." Yeah, a lot of young people now procrastinate. I'm guilty of that. That's a bad thing, you know, because then you wind up wasting 10 years. You haven't done anything. Yeah, you did it right for sure. I think so. Teachers' pensions are like gold, says Craft Beer Tastic. Gold. I knew that when I was 20 years old because I heard some teacher talking about, yeah, you can retire after 20 years. And I picked up on that. That like an alarm bell went off in my head. I said, 20 years? You get a check the rest of your life? I knew a guy that was in the Air Force. He graduated from high school, 1983. He immediately joined the Air Force. He was never going to go to college. That wasn't his bag. He stayed in the Air Force till age 38, so 18, 28, 38. And then he retired, and I don't know what he does now, but he gets a check every month for the rest of his life from the United States Air Force. He stayed in there for 20 years, you know. He lived on the base and everything, and most of their expenses were paid. You know, when they lived on the base, they had all kind of very inexpensive food and medical care and housing. But my first cousin was in the Army, and he did it for 8 years, and he didn't like people telling him what to do. And I was like, it's the Army. That's what you do. People tell you what to do. You follow orders. And I told him, I said, you can't deal with this for 12 more years. You're going to get a check the rest of your life. 12 years. He was in Korea. He went to Iraq. He said he liked Iraq, but it was scary, but he liked it. But he was hard-headed, you know. And I said, it's kind of like you wasted 12 years. You could bank that money, but you don't listen, But I guess he's got a good job now working for ExxonMobil, but he could have had double, the check and then ExxonMobil, but can't tell people nothing, Paulaner Helles Lager is nice. Never tried the Oktoberfest. Oh, it's great. There's two Paulaner Oktoberfest beers. There's two on the market, but it depends on where you live. We get the Märzen, and then sometimes we get the Fest beer, which is a lighter, more yellow beer, stronger alcohol. So there's the blue can. There's the blue can or bottle, which is the Fest beer. And there's that khaki beige can bottle, which is the Märzen from Paulaner. They're both wonderful, so I would say buy both. Do I have a preference? Well, not really. Ezra Brooks, good stuff. All right, so I'm sorry I had to restage this. Now, if it goes dead a second time, I'm just going to kill the video and forget about it. I know I can tell them apart. I don't need a video to verify that. I tasted them twice. I got it right twice. These are not that similar, and you would not they're similar because they're made out of grain, and they're whiskey. One's from Kentucky, one's from Tennessee. But you're not going to confuse them. No way. Nah, no way. They're both 80 proof. 3-year aged, non-age stated, probably 4 years, but could be longer. But yeah, 2 winners, but unfortunately out of production in both cases for the U.S. market at least. Like I said, Ezra Brooks, this black label still being sent to Australia. George Dickel Cascade Hollow is out of production at this time. Although I did remember the website held out that they could bring it back at some future point. They didn't totally rule that out. They said it is out of production at this time, meaning it might come back into production. I once scored a Paulaner Oktoberfest Märzen in the 1 liter can that came with the dimpled mug. Oh yeah, in that gift pack. Yeah, we used to get that here. It might show up tomorrow. Who knows? I saw a lot of Oktoberfest beers coming in today. I saw Shiner Oktoberfest beer coming in today. I saw, I think it was Shiner. I saw Parish Oktoberfest beer from Broussard, Louisiana. So Texas, Louisiana. I saw Paulaner Märzen, and I saw the Spaten. So 2 Germans, 1 Texas, 1 Louisiana, all wonderful products. Absolutely wonderful. I cannot imagine a person drinking those and talking about they're not that good. I don't, no way. No way that's happening in this world, in my world. Welcome to my world. You know what I'm saying? Like, those things are awesome. Those 4 beers are awesome. And then yesterday I saw the Samuel Adams Oktoberfest. Not exactly awesome, but super solid, definitely a winner. All right, we all take care now. And do I love Oktoberfest beers? Oh, yes. I never get tired of them. I just don't get tired of fabulous beers. That's my little peculiarity. Craft Beer Tastic says, I think Oktoberfest officially kicks off dark beer season. You might be right. Although most of the beers they drink in Germany for Oktoberfest are bright yellow, yellow fizzy stuff. All right, y'all take care now. Bye-bye, everybody. And by the way, we'll be back in about 7 minutes with Light Beer Wednesday. Light Beer Wednesday. I don't know who's going to join. I'm going to join. Hopefully I'm not alone. But Light Beer Wednesday. Any light beer. And I don't have to explain to people what light beer is. If I have to explain that to you, you're either being intentionally difficult or you don't have good sense. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.